to do is stay a minute, just take your time. The clock is ticking, so stay. All you have to do is wait a second. Your hands on mine. The clock is ticking, so stay. All you have to do is stay.
The center for everything that is political and American. You're listening to The Garrison Douglas Show.
She lived, as we all have lived, too many years in a culture broken by brutally powerful men. But their time is up. Their time is up. So I want all the girls watching here and now to know that a new day is on the horizon. And when that new day finally dawns, it will be because of a lot of magnificent women, many of whom are right here in this room tonight, and some pretty phenomenal men fighting hard to make sure that they become the leaders who take us to the time when nobody ever has to say, "Me too," again. Thank you.
We need somebody that can take the brand of the United States and make it great again. It's not great again. We need somebody. We need somebody that literally will take this country and make it great again.
It appears as if local rapper Courtney Rose is our winner in the race for mayor of Fort Gregg, California.
You put your name on a ballot. That means something.
I think I got this.
Damn right you do.
What's going on?
I hired a few staffers. These boys know Fort Gregg inside and out.
And if I needed a pizza delivered in 60 minutes or less, they would be my guys.
I can do it in 12.
Get your hands in the air. You came to party tonight.
We gotta get you some sleep. It might be your last chance for the next 4 years.
Wait, this job is 4 years?
Welcome to the program, everybody. Good to have you back. It is good to be back here behind this desk on this chair talking about politics. But let's just go ahead and get right into it, shall we? America has this fascination with Hollywood. We want their money. We want the love that they show in their movies. We buy their fragrances. We buy their clothing lines. We wear the same soap that the stars wear. We pick the certain sides in soap operas that are being aired across national television. We do it all. We bawl our eyes out when they kill off our favorite characters. Thanks, Shonda. Well, friend Shonda Rhimes. But most importantly, we look to them for leadership. We look to these people for leadership. Why? Well, because let's understand what's going on in America right now. Americans see more and have more contact with through their televisions. They see more of TV and movie presidents and elected officials than they do of actual presidents and elected officials. And on those shows, they offer something reality doesn't. Fantasy. These TV presidents and politicians have a way of making you fall in love with them despite their massive problems. Look at the TV show The West Wing. Jed Bartlett, the president of the United States, he had a freaking degenerative illness. both mental and physically. And he lied to the American people. He lied to the White House staff. He had his wife lie, the First Lady of the United States, lie to everyone. Yet, I can't seem to find a way to not love this guy. I try. Like, seriously, I love this guy. I find myself saying he's a man of integrity when he's not. He is nowhere close to a man of integrity. He lied to the American people. And yet I find myself saying, I love this guy, but I hated and was annoyed with consistently all the people who were trying to take him out for that very reason. He lied to the American people. He doesn't deserve to be president. How dare you? Shut your mouth. This is Jed Bartlet we're talking about. Jed Bartlet. Good man. Good family man. Loves his family. Like, I can't believe I was saying this, folks. And I know that in reality, I wouldn't be saying this if it was the real president. Because just a year ago, or 2 years ago, in 2016, I was yelling at Hillary Clinton's emails. Emails! I found myself saying emails were more important to discuss, were more important to America's national security than the fact that the President of the United States had a degenerative illness that would affect him both mentally and physically. Look at Scandal. Look at Scandal, folks. Fitzgerald Grant, or Fitz for short, married, has children, has a wife, leader of the free world, sleeping, having a long-time affair, a multi-year affair with his White House press secretary, and his wife knows. He then kicks his wife and the First Lady of the United States of America out of the White House and moves his former mistress and now girlfriend, or at the time in that season, girlfriend, into the White House. Folks, I was cheering. I was on team, I don't know how to do an F. Fitz. I was on Team Fitz. Team Olitz, if you would. Like, that's what we called ourselves. I can't remember. Team Olitz. Olivia and Fitz. I was for them. I didn't like Jake, even though Jake was the single one. Jake was the single man who would do anything for her. But I wanted her to end up with the married president. And when he moved her in to the White House and made her first lady, well, kind of, sort of first lady, I was yelling to the rooftops with glee. Hallelujah! And now I'm thinking to myself, what about the freaking kid? He has children. He has children. People were saying, well, what about the kids? I was like, who cares about the kids? Mainly because of the fact I never really saw them. I saw them more in season 1 than in season 2. But that's what was happening, folks. Had Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, had any of the presidents I've been alive for done what Fitzgerald Grant did, I would be livid. I would be asking for their political heads on a political stick. But this is what Hollywood does. This is what Hollywood does to us. They have a way of making you fall in love with these characters despite their flaws. And it's not like these are some minor flaws, like, oh, he or she happens to stress the truth a little bit, or he or she may not, make the best decisions all the time. But these are pretty glaring and pretty bad things to do. It's sickening when you really think about how they really will make us fall in love with their crazy illnesses. It's mind-boggling. And because of our fantasized relationship with Hollywood, we want to actually start electing these people. We want to elect these people to be president of the United States of America? And don't get me wrong, folks, and I want to be absolutely clear. I really liked Jed Bartlett in The West Wing. Even though I probably shouldn't have, I really did. But never before did I ever consider to myself, wouldn't it be great if Martin Sheen became president? Like, what? That thought never even crossed my mind. But I guarantee you, based off of what we're seeing today, that thought crossed a lot of people's mind. Martin, run for president. CJ, you should replace Sarah Huckabee Sanders as White House press secretary. Like, these people are actors. They fake for a living. Their entire job is to be someone else, to fake a character. And I don't know why we're doing this exactly. Maybe it's because of Ronald Reagan. I mean, that's essentially where it started, the celebrity president. And I can't really rag on Ronald because he actually had experience. He was governor of freaking California, one of the largest states in the entire union. That's what he was doing. But then let's look at Donald Trump. He's a businessman. Not a great one. Not even really a good one. More like a okay one. But folks fell in love with him because he was on television. He was on television, folks, doing The Apprentice and then Celebrity Apprentice. And then he sat in this chair like this. Listen, I believe that both of you are good people. Okay? But this is a television show, and I gotta decide who goes home. And Meatloaf, you're fired. Oh wait, no, sorry. You're fired! See, you gotta do that. You're fired! For some reason, that just made everybody's political, I don't want to use a word because it's just too vulgar, but, get them all hot and ready, This man needs to be president. He said, Meatloaf, you're fired. Make that man president. He needs to go into the White House and go to Obama and be like, you're fired. Like, what kind of freaking insanity is this? And because of this insanity, because we just can't seem to separate fiction from reality anymore as a country, now Oprah should be president. The Democrats are like, you remember like a year ago, like during the campaign where we were like, Donald Trump shouldn't become president because, like he has no experience and his only experience is being on television telling people you're fired. How about we do the same thing now, guys? Like, it just suddenly came to me. Why don't we have a television titan of our own?
Well, she's certainly raising the bar for whomever decides to run, because they'd better burn the barn in the same way, because it's just, we realize how thirsty we are for that sort of return to a passionate adherence to our values and our principles as a country, as a people, men and women. And you can really pull a big army behind you with that kind of rhetoric and real feeling and smarts. I think she's amazing.
Some people have said that you should be running for president.
Well, I've told him that often.
Well, I'll take, as VP, I just hope President Winfrey gives me occasional rides on Air Force One, the helicopter that she gets to go around with. But this great thing has always been said about our country is that anybody can grow up and become president of the United States. And our current chief executives has proven literally that anybody can become president of the United States. That is a sword of Damocles that I think is hanging over us. And the possibility of someone who is incredibly smart, incredibly passionate, who is always putting forward a message of inclusion and cooperation, and with the authenticity of someone who says, I want to wake up every day and make the world and our country and your city and your neighborhood better than it is, I think that person is the type of president of the United States that I like to have, no matter what quarter that they come from.
So you think it's a legitimate bid? You would support that?
I wouldn't.
Would you support it? I mean, let's face it. She also is inexperienced in the matters of running a country.
She's run a major corporation that didn't go bankrupt 3 or 4 or however many times. Yeah, I think she's more than qualified. Intellectually, she's qualified. Her energy, her stamina, her passion. I think she's more than qualified.
As someone who gets bandied...
And as for everybody growing up and thinking they can be president,
yeah,
for half of the population, that has been true.
That's exactly...
For our entire history, if you'll notice.
As the man, let me walk back the statement I just said.
This to you, Tom.
I am so glad that you have enlightened me, and I became enlightened simply by listening to what you had to say. And I cannot argue with the empirical truth of what you just pointed out. There's a number of ways for history to be made here, and I think the first woman chief executive of the United States would need to have Oprah Winfrey's qualities. Now, whether or not she sees, look, people joke around with me all the time. Hey, why don't you make a good speech? You look good on TV. Why don't you do it? That's not the same thing as someone who really may need to step in and say, boy, there's some heavy lifting that has to go on here, and if I might have to do it.
Folks, I can't stop myself from laughing because everything Meryl Streep just said is exactly what she condemned Donald Trump for being, and was the exact reasons Trump voters gave for why they voted for him. You cannot make this stuff up. Jon Stewart in interviews used to say, or asked the questions like, do these people, he was really talking about Republicans or politicians really, but he was saying, do these people not understand that we have tape recordings? Like, we can go back to the tape and see that you said something different. You were just condemning Trump for being a businessman last year, saying we don't need a businessman running for president or being president. Now, you're saying that Oprah should become president because she's a good businesswoman. Oh, and passionate. Sorry. She's passionate, which means, she should be president. Passion equals presidency. Doesn't matter what you're passionate about, to be honest, I guess. Pretty sure Charles Manson was passionate about what he was doing. Pretty sure suicide bombers are pretty passionate. I don't see myself wanting to elect one of those guys, but you believe passion, Miss Streep, should be why we vote for Oprah Winfrey. Folks, we are officially entering the age of celebrity politics. We say that the presidency is a big deal. We say it's a big job, but clearly we don't think that it's all that important, because we think that because someone can give a admittedly very powerful speech on an issue that virtually everyone agrees on, everyone, that now they need to be president. I want you to take a look at another clip.
Have a good night.
Why are you doing this? You're a player. You're bigger in the party than I am. Hoynes would make you national chairman. Leo, tell me this isn't one of the 12 steps.
That's what it is. Right after admitting that we're powerless over alcohol and that a higher power can restore us to sanity. That's where you come in.
Leo?
Because I'm tired of it year after year after year after year, having to choose between the lesser of who cares, of trying to get myself excited about a candidate who can speak in complete sentences, of setting the bar so low, I can hardly look at it. They say a good man can't get elected president. I don't believe that, do you?
You know what, Leo? I do. I do believe a good man or a good woman can become president. I believe in you, Leo. I believe in you. But that person is going to be boring. They're not going to have you weeping in tears at every single speech. They're simply going to walk into a room. They're going to walk into the Oval Office. And they're going to do the job. And then they're going to go home. And to be honest, that's what America needs right now. We have turned elected office into a cultural exhibit from the top to the bottom. Identity politics has taken hold. Celebrities are now considered leaders. This is where we are. Just take a look at the TV show on ABC called The Mayor. It shows a local rapper who runs for mayor. He ran for mayor of a moderately large city as a joke. A joke, folks. He thought that running for office was a joke. Well, he knew nothing about politics. He didn't desire to be mayor. He wasn't called to public service. He never ever really thought about it. And he's simply a rapper who wanted big butts in his face and a crap ton of money so that he could blow it on cars and houses and, help his mama out. Get his mama out of the, stop her from having to work so hard. She's a postal worker. So, help her out, get her house, set her up. But guess what happened? He ran for mayor as a joke, and I'm sure you already know, otherwise, you know the show wouldn't exist if this didn't happen, but he won. He won the election. The people of that city elected a rapper who was running as a joke, who never wanted to be mayor, who had no political experience, who did not care about public service as their public servant, their head public servant. And now the show's about him fighting to be the very best mayor that he could be and balancing his rap career and blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. Folks love this show. They love watching it. There's this entertainment to it. And don't get me wrong, I understand. When I saw the previews and I heard about the plot, I was like, this is a stupid and funny plot. And I almost watched it until I thought about it even clearer. And I realized the fact of the matter is that this can actually happen. Television brings controversial and unpopular ideas into the mainstream, folks. That's what it does. It brings it to the mainstream to change your mind. Modern Family was was created to show that two gay men living together in one house can raise a child and nothing be a problem. There'd be no problem. that an older man could marry a younger woman and be a stepfather to a young child and be no problem. And that all of this happening would pose no threat or problem to the Dunphys or the traditional American family, the white picket fence, wife, husband, and 3 kids. I'm pretty sure they actually have a white picket fence too, to symbolize it. That's what that show was designed for. Empire was created to show or basically expose to the black community the fact that homosexuality isn't a problem, and that being a homosexual doesn't make you any less of a man or any less black. That's why in the episode, when in one episode, spoiler alert if you haven't watched the new season, the gay son, when he feels betrayed, or when he is betrayed by one of their enemies and his lover, blah, 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 he curb stomps him badly. The gay one. Not the tough, straight rapper one, or Lucius, the dad who just goes around shooting people left and right, but the gay son. Didn't make him any less of a man to be gay. That's what the show's about. And that's not me saying it, folks. That's not me saying some sort of conspiracy. That is what the creator said. He said that in the black community, we have a problem with homosexuals. And that this show is supposed to soften our hearts, to show us the reality of homosexuality. And the only way to do that was really to hit us at our most vulnerable area, which is music. We sure love our music. The Cosby Show, another great one, was designed to show a upper middle class black family, father who's a doctor and the wife who's a lawyer, raising great kids, going through this daily strugglehood of being a parent, regardless if you're black or white or whatever, that blacks can be successful too, and it wouldn't be a big deal. That's what the show was designed for. That's what it was supposed to be. So when you begin to broadcast programming showing people who do not care about public service, who do not have any political knowledge and no interest in the legislative process, being elected into public office and succeeding at it, we promote the very idea that gave us Donald Trump and possibly in the future, now Oprah Winfrey. And before I go to break, I just want to leave you with this. I want to leave you with this question. And I pose it to my Democratic friends, not all of them, because I'm not going to say every single Democrat has jumped on board. But there's been a decent amount. So I ask you this question. Those of you who are Democrats and not even Republicans, but the Never Trumpers who are now supporting Oprah or are now excited about a possible Oprah presidency. Where does Oprah stand on raising the minimum wage? Where does Oprah stand on universal health care? Where does Oprah stand on Syria? Where does she stand on Iran? What's her position on moving Jerusalem or moving the United States Embassy to Jerusalem? What's her position on higher taxes for the rich? Or making the tax system more fair? What is her position? And this isn't supposed to be like she believes in this and that. This is not a trick question. I truly, if you are supporting this candidate or potential candidate or excited about this presidency possibly, why? If you can't answer those questions, what is there to be excited about? Are you excited about the fact she's against sexual assault? I'm against sexual assault. You want to elect me to be president? I'll be president. I'll do it. Sure. Martin O'Malley. He's against sexual assault. You didn't elect him. John McCain is against sexual assault. You didn't vote for him. So, if that's not the reason, why? That's what we need to think about. If you can't answer that question, you might need to reevaluate what you believe to be qualifications for president. And with that, I'll be right back. Oh, I almost forgot. Did you see this?
The Garrison Douglas Show presents. Did you see this?
Just like the huge embarrassment you had when you got the Comey testimony wrong.
Stephen, I'm trying to get to the issue of the president's fitness, which a lot of people are questioning.
I'm getting to the issue of your fitness, but the president's tweets absolutely reaffirmed the plain-spoken truth. A self-made billionaire revolutionized reality TV and tapped into something magical that's happening in the hearts of this country. The people that you don't...
The president has approval rating in the 30s. I don't know what magical you're talking about.
The people that you don't connect with and understand, the people whose manufacturing jobs have left, who've been besieged by high-crime communities, and who've been affected by a policy of uncontrolled immigration, those voices, those experiences don't get covered on this network. That's why, to prove the point, I was booked to talk about the very issues I'm just describing, and you're not even asking about them because they're not interesting facts to you.
That's not true. I have plenty of questions on immigration. You've attempted to filibuster by talking about your flights with the president. I want to ask you a question because
don't be condescending, Jake.
Stephen, the president and the White House.
The reason why I want to talk about
the president and the White House.
The reason why I want to talk about the president's experiences, what I've seen with him traveling to meet dozens of foreign leaders, with his incredible work.
Okay, you're not answering the questions.
No,
I understand.
You have 24 hours a day of anti-Trump material, and you're not going to give 3 minutes for the American people to hear the real experience of Donald Trump.
There's one viewer that you care about right now, and you're being obsequious. You're being a factotum in order to please him, okay?
No.
And I think I've wasted enough of my viewers' time. Thank you, Stephen. As Republicans, lawmakers call for Attorney General Jeff Sessions to resign. In a major reversal, Democrats are now coming to his defense. What changed? We'll ask the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee next.
All right, folks, welcome back. I'm going to be premiering a new segment on the program where I leave you with some political predictions and thoughts on particular issues that have come to mind this week. Obviously, Oprah is going to be my first point tonight. So my first point is run for governor. Oprah, run for governor of California. Get experience. Understand how government works. And once you do that and think you can handle it, run for Senate. Understand how Washington works. Build relationships with members of Congress. Then, after all of that, if you still want to be president, run for president. Because being on TV does not qualify you to be president. But your business experience, your business background, does qualify you to be governor. It does qualify with political experience attached for you to be in the Senate. I just want to be clear, folks. We have a lot right now, actually, to be real honest. We have a lot of great politicians in Congress and across the country, actually, in city councils, state assemblies. We have a lot of great politicians. We've had great potential presidents run for the very office that we want Oprah to seek. However, lately, our disappointment has come from our own misdeeds, to be honest. I'm just laying it out there, folks. We want to send uncompromising and entertaining folks into government. And then we want to be surprised when we have a government full of uncompromising individuals who can't get anything done. And then when they don't get anything done, they get frustrated and feel like the only thing that they can do while they're up there is at least make themselves some money. So then you feel betrayed. You feel like government has failed you again. That's what we're doing to ourselves. And that's my first point. My second point is we need a smaller government, ladies and gentlemen. A smaller and more efficient and more accountable government. All of these regulations that government is putting out against business and individuals and how you and I live our daily lives, they need to be started with themselves first. Regulate themselves. And if you're wondering why I'm bringing this up, go ahead, let's take a look at this clip of what happened between a teacher and a city council president or whatever, whoever, city council leader or school board president. Let's take a look.
No comment unless you're recognized. Whose fault is that? All right, you got all your concerns for the superintendent. Yes, ma'am.
Superintendent, how are you going to take a raise when there's ELA? When I first started teaching ELA, there was like 21 kids in a class, and now there's 29 kids in a class that we are now having, and we have not gotten raises. How are you going to take that money? Because it's basically taking out of the pockets of teachers.
Stop right now. That's not germane to what's on the agenda tonight.
Yes, it is.
Come on now.
How are you going to take?
What's on the agenda is the superintendent's contract.
With a raise.
With a raise.
Well, that's not talking about the raise.
I am. I'm saying, how are you taking the raise when you're basically taking from the teachers and employees under you, when we have class sizes that are that big? This directly speaks to what you have just voted on.
Ms. Hargrave, a year ago I presented to this board. Okay. Thank y'all very much.
Anybody else?
Excuse me, officer. Can I not stand when I'm being spoken to?
Anybody?
Is there a rule?
You're going to leave, or I'm going to remove you. Take your things and go.
Are you serious? I hope somebody has this on video.
Really?
Excuse me.
All right, vote
Is it against policy to stand? Do not.
Hold on.
This is the most disgraceful and distasteful thing
I
I ever
want another
seen.
comment.
A comment.
She wasn't talking to you. She was talking to.
It was
Mr. Pio.
comments for the superintendent.
I don't want the audience to comment without being recognized.
She was recognized. She was recognized.
By you.
He was speaking to me directly.
And he responded to her.
That's exactly right.
But you run everything. He did.
When the superintendent can't even look at her when she's talking.
Okay.
Probably.
I'm pretty sad.
However you want to do it.
This is pretty sad. Our children.
My name is Angel
Wait a minute. I asked for it. We'll bring them a comment here and recognize Sarah.
Just put her in handcuffs. Hey.
Apologize to the public.
He did not.
Why are you putting her in handcuffs right now?
Let's go see this. No.
Yeah, this on video.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't. Can you explain?
Are you kidding me?
Stop resisting.
I am not. You just pushed me to the floor. Sir, hold on. I am way smaller than you.
Really sad.
This is what happens when government gets larger and is less accountable to the American people. and to their voters and to their constituents. When government gets bigger and bigger, it only allows for more chaos. It only allows for more corruption. I want to size down government. I was debating an older gentleman about a week ago. And he was telling me he wanted Democrats in office because he wanted a say in how his government works. Well, this is the very reason why I don't want a lot of Democrats in office, because of the fact that every proposal they have is increasing the size of government. And increasing the size of government and giving the government more control of our lives is what leads to situations like these, where they can give themselves pay raises, where they can do whatever they want, make the deals that benefit them the most. And you, when you dare question it, you can be arrested and dragged out of a town hall meeting. And folks, this is not something exclusive to Democrats. Both sides of the aisle abuse power. Any politician has the capacity to, regardless of party affiliation. But in a smaller government, it is harder for them to get away with it. Government control of my health care. If I give them that, how am I going to have a say over how my health care works? What treatments I can receive, or what say can I have over the specific doctor I want to go to? What if the government doesn't like my doctor? Does that mean my government-controlled health care won't pay for my doctor's visit? What happens then? What if I give government control of my college tuition? The idea that they control my college tuition means that I'm no longer paying for college, which means why should I have a say as a student on that campus of how money is spent? I have no more of a say as a student than my next door neighbor, because all coming from the taxpayers. But let's think about it. How many colleges are listening to the taxpayers? None. That's why there's a student government association and not a taxpayer government association on those college campuses. Because student governments are designed, we were given, it's mandatory to have those because we're paying for college. So which means we deserve to have a say in how money is spent, how money is allocated, how student fees are allocated. That's what we deserve. We have that right because we're investing in it. We're paying for it. But remove that, you no longer need to have a say because it's no longer your money that's being spent. Kinda. It's not just you. You're not directly funding it. The government's funding it. You're funding it through the government. As a taxpayer. Which means you're really probably only contributing, instead of the $20,000 a semester that you're contributing to the college, you're more realistically contributing $100. And that's not much of a say. $100 doesn't get you a whole lot of buying power on a college campus, believe me, especially the dining hall. This is why smaller government is a solution. It's the only thing that works. It's why small villages don't have many problems. That was a poor analogy, but it's the one I came up with. So I'm going to leave it there. That's all for tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this in new format. Send me a message, comment on the video below. Or wait, I think Facebook moved it to the side. So comment to the side. Or maybe it's still below. I don't know. Comment on the video and post on the Facebook page, whichever. Post on the Facebook page, Facebook group, send me an email, whatever you want to do. Send me some feedback. Let me know. Do you like this format? Do you wish something was better? What would you like to see on the program that I'm not already doing, or what would you like to see me not do in the program? And don't say be a Republican, because I've gotten that a couple times already. All right? It's funny, but it's not what I'm looking for. So that's it for tonight. I'll see you all back here next Friday, 7:30 sharp. Have a good night, folks.